Good evening. Welcome. Michael Elmers here, Deeper State Minds and Wellness. How are you? I'd like to welcome you to the broadcast tonight. I wanted to talk about 5 things that we can kind of get rid of that keep us from holding our lives back. I want to talk a little bit about how it's interesting how you go through life many times and you have negativity or things that kind of lock into our neurosystem. I'll talk a little bit more about that. But I want to share who I am. My name is Michael Almers. I'm Deeper States Mind and Wellness. We are a hypnotherapy and neurolinguistic programming facility here in Los Angeles, California. We do serve people around the world. So check out our website at deeperstate.com. But anyway, I want to start talking to you a little bit about what my topic is today. So I want to kind of clarify some things and hopefully give you some tools that you can use. So what I find really interesting is a lot of my clients go through this process where they are creating limitations for themselves. They create limitations by saying there's certain things they can't do. I'll have clients that'll say, for instance, I'm really big on fasting. I lost 66 pounds with fasting, and we'll go through the program and they'll say, I've never been able to lose more than 5 pounds at a time and then I gain it right back. Or I've never been able to lose more than 10 pounds at a time and I gain it right back. Language pattern is really, really important. And we have to be able to change that belief system. But a lot of times what I find is that belief system is something it's coming with you ever since you were a child, right? It starts all the way back when you have a parent saying, oh, you can't do that. You don't touch that. Don't do this. Don't do that. Without giving you a reason as to why you don't do something. So what's really crazy is a lot of people go through their whole life with those limitations, right? We create these limitations in ourselves that don't allow us because we're telling ourselves we can't. We can't do this. We can't do that. But there's also things that I think emotions that we hold on to that hold on to us, right? I like to say that our mind is kind of like the ocean. Everything that's conscious flows in and out as that direction happens. And it does its thing. It processes the way it's supposed to. But imagine that underneath there is an undertow. That undertow is grabbing you and pulling you every time you want to do something that your old self, your childhood self, believes that it can't do. Right? That it believes that it can't accomplish it because there was a childhood belief, or there was something that came into play and your mind thought, oh my gosh, I really want to do that. But the unconscious mind goes back to remembering maybe a parent or a school teacher, somebody saying, oh, you can't do that. You can't achieve that. So there's also emotions that come into play. I have had clients in the past where they had horrible relationships with their father or their mother, and they hold on to these anger processes, these bitter moments where they remember that day. That was it's so clear in their head. They remember how horrible it was and what they were treated like and what went on with their family member or their father or their mother. What I find really interesting with that is that if you hold on to those emotions, they will stay with you. They will not serve you well, and they will continue with the rest of your life. How many people do you know that have had horrible relationships with their mom and dad and they continue it that way? They die living like that. Okay. There are things we have to release as we go through life. And if you want to be successful, these are the things you have to release. You have to let these things go. One, stop worrying about what people think about you. All right. Your job is to be loving, caring, kind, and stop worrying about what the world thinks of you. But put yourself in a position where you're achieving based on what you know you want to achieve and how you can give back. I like to tell my clients, we're here to serve. We're here to serve each other. And really that's what our job is. But we've all had traumas, right? I was just telling a client earlier, we've all had traumas. Our traumas are based on what we believe was a trauma. So I had traumas as a kid. I mean, I had things that happened where I thought, oh my God, that was really kind of horrible. I can remember things that happened when I was young that, I thought was very, very traumatic. And for me, it was. In my mind, in my lifestyle, I thought that was traumatic. But then you look at a person that had come to my office several years ago, that the person was sent by a psychiatrist, and we were doing a consultation, an intake. And I said, tell me about your childhood. And she just kind of glazed right over it, kind of ignored it. And then I thought that was really odd. So I caught it, and then when at the close to the middle of my interview, my intake with her, I came back. I said, let's talk about the childhood stuff again. How was your child? She goes, well, it was pretty normal. Most of the time we have things that happen, and we just kind of get through them, right? Everybody has trauma. And I said, well, give me some detail of that. And she said, well, it was just typical. My mom and dad, my father was an alcoholic. He used to beat my mother. And then one day he took out a shotgun and he shot her in the leg. But, we all worked through that. Our family worked through that. And this potential client was sent to me to work with her for alcohol and drug recovery. And I was like, oh, wow. If you think that's normal, that's not normal. It's how you believe it should have been normal for you. You had to go in and correct it. So you did an unconscious correction, right? Your unconscious mind was like, okay, I got to cope with this. But every family has this, and it put it into place. So the emotions that really don't benefit you or never will benefit you, that many of us carry with us all the time. I mean, we carry anger with us. You get really angry at somebody and you hold that grudge forever. The idea is and I'll tell you how to deal with this stuff at the end of this, because I think it's just easier for us to put it all together. Because I'm a hypnotist. I'm a neurolinguistic programmer. I believe that you control how you feel. You control your states. You control interior and exterior emotions, right? Because if something's happening on the outside, you don't want it to happen and you don't know how to cope with it, you can always shut it down and walk away and be like, okay, I can't cope with this. Or you can sit there and you can let it disintegrate you and try to recover, and maybe you will, maybe you won't. All right. So let's talk about the emotions that I really feel that people need to address. And as you grow up, address them even more, because they will come in. That undertow will continue to pull you back in with the negative process. So anger is a big one. I mean, if you get really angry with somebody and you hold that anger and that grudge for the rest of your life, it's going to follow you. You'll always make a decision based on that kind of feeling, that emotion, right? Fear is another one. I like to tell a story where, this military gentleman was going to join the military, 18-year-old boy, going to join the military, and he really, really wants it because, he's in this small town and he has really nowhere to go. He's not gonna do much if he stays here, and he knows that. He's not academically inclined, so he's struggling. So, the only position available is a paratrooper. And he thinks, oh my God, I'm so scared of that, right? I'm so afraid of that. What happens if I die? And then, he gets it together and he does one paratroop, a tandem, right? And it's scary, but he gets through it. He manages it. He handles it, right? Second one is going to be a little less scary. Third's going to be less scary. Fourth is going to be even less scary. And eventually, at 265 jumps, which is really not much for a person in the military, at 265 jumps, there's no sensation. There's no emotion. It's just a job now. Make sense? It's adrenaline rush because it's still adrenaline rushing, but it's no longer this big, overwhelming, oh my God, I'm so scared, right? So fear is one you have to let go. Another one's hate. And they kind of, people say, oh, well, hate is kind of anger, but, it really isn't. To hate something is pretty strong. And I think in order to use the word hate, it's like you're at a point now where you're so strongly dissatisfied with something that you're willing to let it die in your life, or to do something drastic to close it out of your life. And hate is something that I think that if people carry that with them in their life, it does hold you back. It holds you back because it doesn't let you make contacts. It doesn't let you open up yourself. It doesn't let you become who you need to be in order to be able to talk to people and give people that first opportunity, that chance. All of these do that to you. It makes you a calloused ass, right? I mean, it calluses you so much that you go into a place where you're just not really sharing emotions with anybody. You're not letting people in. A lot of times, and we'll talk a little bit about that too, a lot of times people keep themselves safe. I don't want you safe. If you're my client, I'd rather you take risk and fail than to not take risk at all. Because if you fail, at least you can say, okay, I learned something. How do I not fail next time? Or maybe that's just not for me. Maybe that's not who I should be, right? Maybe I need to reevaluate who I want to be. Remorse. Remorse is something that is just one of the most difficult things that I deal with clients that have remorse, is that they're dealing with something that they believe they should have been different at, or that they should have been better, or they should have given more attention to it. They should have processed it differently. And I'll tell you, the thing with that is that remorse is something that it can destroy you in the way that it makes you feel so much negativity and guilt that you can't get over it. I mean, technically, they say you can't get over it. I'm going to give you some techniques today to kind of get over all of these, all right? The last one is regret. How many times have you, and I'll tell you, the closest thing to my heart is that my father had regrets when he passed away. And I think I see that with most of my clients. You know, they live their entire life and they regret not taking opportunities because they were afraid, right? If you have fear, the opportunities are going to come to you and you're going to turn them away. You're going to walk away from opportunity because fear is going to always be stronger than the pleasure of success. Because our brain is kind of programmed like that. Regret is something that you can never change. You can never ever change something that you did wrong. All you can do is learn from what you did wrong and take that regret and let it go. And I'm going to teach you kind of how to let this stuff go. So we talked about anger, we talked about fear, we talked about hate, talked about regret, talked about remorse. So all of these kind of come into the same mind pattern, is that if you let these things sit in your way, stand there and grab you, the undertow of the mind, right? It's going to grab you, it's going to pull you out. So the key element is that when somebody does something to you, or you feel like you weren't enough, or you feel like you're doing something and you're not succeeding the way it should be, know that at the moment you are exactly where you need to be, all right? You may not be perfectly successful at something. And I'll tell you, I mean, I've done programs where I thought, oh my God, this is going to be the best program. I can put it together, I can build it, and people will come to it and they'll love it. And it sucks. And that's okay. Because I can't look at the things that I do, and you can't look at the things that you do as being regretful, being remorseful, hating what you did, having anger for another person, because all of that's going to keep you from succeeding in your life. All right? You have to let it go. And the way you let it go is to say, okay, you know what? One, either I fucked up, or two, it just didn't work out the way it was supposed to, or maybe it wasn't meant to be. But you got to stop and you got to look back at things and say, what did I learn from that? Did I learn something that can help me next time do something better? And everything you do is going to give you that potential. All right? You have to know that you are limitless except for your belief system. If you believe you're going to fail, I promise you'll fail. And it's no different than if you wake up in the morning and you think, oh my God, it's a shitty day. And I'm going to tell you, I have those days where you wake up and you think, oh my God, it's just going to be a shitty day. I'm so tired. I'm so exhausted. I didn't sleep well last night. But if you change the mindset, you start changing those behaviors and just let that go and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to get through today. I'm just going to get through today. I'm going to do the best I can, and it's going to be good. It's going to be okay. It's going to be good. There's another day, right? We have another day. And if you don't have another day, then you're not going to have to worry about that. All right? So as a hypnotist, as an NLP practitioner, as a practitioner, as a therapist, those are the things I find that hold people back in our society, in our world, in our country, in our everywhere. I mean, every human being's mind operates the same way, right? If you have anger or fear or hate, remorse, regret, and you're carrying that with you, it burns you. It burns you every day. It plays a part, an integral part in your life, and it does hold you back from achieving. Imagine if there was a child, and I like to give this to my clients so they can kind of run this through their head. Imagine if there was a child, and this child is angry all the time. This child is always being told by his parents that he's shit, that he's not going to succeed. He's a horrible kid. You know, you're useless. You're just a pain in the ass. You're useless. You should have never been born. I hate you. You know, you're the child that we didn't really want. You're the accident that happened. Imagine hearing that every single day, every day. And what's going to happen is your brain believes it, right? I mean, you 15 years of that. What is this kid going to do? This kid's going to look for drugs and alcohol and find a way to escape. I mean, I just had an interview with a client today, which it's interesting because she felt like she had dealt with everything in childhood, but she hadn't. She was carrying these burdens, these emotions, these sensations, these processes along with her that she learned on her path of life up to this point. And they were still reflecting on everything she was doing. You know, if you're going to start a business, if you're going to start a new life, if you're going to start a new day, a new way, you have to cleanse that out. And I don't care if it's hypnosis, NLP, or talk therapy. but you have to be present in order to allow that to happen. And once you do resolve yourself of that, you purge that out of your system, it's a new birth. It's a new day to become a new way, right? A new day for you to become who you really want to be. The idea is to not feel horrible all your life. I just don't know. And if you want to believe in God, believe in God. You want to believe in natural spiritual energy. You want to believe that the tree is giving you energy. I don't care. But what you have to believe in is yourself. You have to wake up in the morning and know that you are going to be successful at what you do. And if you're not successful, damn it, it's a learning experience. It's a way for you to take knowledge and put it into something new, a rebirth of something that's going to give you a whole new idea, a whole new process, right? So when somebody tells you something, it's their opinion, and I want you to know that. I want you to take that with you. When somebody says something negative to you, and positive, right? Somebody could give you a positive process and say, this is what we need to give you. This is what's going to change your life. And that's where religion comes into perfect play, right? It is positive, it's great, it's uplifting, it's beautiful, it's perfect. But imagine if you took every sermon and you put it into exactly what it was meant to be. You'd never be able to do that. Your interpretation would be totally different. So it's important that in life, you take what makes you better and allows you to give to the world, and not for you to compress yourself into this place where you feel like you're not greater than or even better than, because you are better than some, and some are better than you. So it's important to be able to know that, and know that. And I know that's really controversial, because some therapists are like, oh my God, you never want your client to think they're better than somebody else. But absolutely. We make decisions and choices in life, you guys. So if Bob over here makes a choice to be shooting up heroin every day, that's his choice. That's his decision. And yes, it's an addiction. Yes, it's become this out of control behavior. But are you better than Bob over here? I think you are in some way, because you made a different decision. But it's about making those decisions, right? So imagine what it'd be like if you told your child every day. And I want you guys to, if you have young kids, think about this. Tell your child, you're wonderful, you're great, you're successful, you're going to be a great kid. You apply yourself and you can be anything you want. Put your energy and your thoughts into positive processes and you can achieve anything you desire, sweetie. You will become whatever you want to become. All right? The key element is going to be that people understand that. And that's how we grow as human beings. So if you're carrying these emotions with you, these processes, I only gave you 5. There's a lot more. I mean, and it really is how you evaluate your inner self. Because every one of us has an auditory and visual voice inside of ourselves. A lot of times, you'll see something and you see it in picture form first. Sometimes you'll do something and you feel the emotion of it and it'll be like, oh my God, I'm turning into my mother. Or, oh my God, I think I just fucked up, right? You will have those internal behaviors, those internal patterns. Become aware of that, those underlying undertows, all right? Those emotional undertows. You can become aware of them. You can change them. If you're not aware of them, you can't change them, right? If you don't know something's wrong, how do you fix it? It's kind of like the alcoholic that goes out and drinks every single day and just doesn't think he has a problem. Kills 3 people, runs over a pedestrian, shoots his wife. She survives. She loves him. So she comes back and, he feels like nothing's wrong. Is there a problem? Absolutely. And usually that's being carried in through emotions that are carried in from childhood. And I find that 98% of the time when I'm working with my clients. These emotions are emotions that you need to be able to understand and let go of. And in hypnosis and NLP, you can address those. You can go in and I'm a metaphoric therapist. So I believe that in order for us to get to something, we don't have to go through the pain of it again. We don't have to go through that emotional hurt. But what we have to do is get the unconscious mind to say, okay, that was then, this is now. How do I change that? How do I restructure my behaviors? How do I let those negative emotions, the anger, the fear, the hate, the remorse, the regret, how do I come to a conclusion? Or how do I come to a process where I can let that just float out of my head? And I can come in and become a new me today to create who I'm going to be tomorrow. When you hold on to the undertows of life that are negative, you will think negative. All right? Trust me. It's a whole theory about saying, don't think about the pink elephant in the room. Immediately. I mean, I thought of a pink elephant in the room, right? Well, the same thing. So you say, Oh, don't be angry at your mother, because you know what? You still need to be friends with her because she's still alive. Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. How abusive was it, right? Do you have to respect? Absolutely. Do you have to give space? Absolutely. Do you have to be there in case there's some kind of needed process and maybe she's really old and can't do it herself? Absolutely. But do you have to be in that every single day? Do you have to consume yourself with the negative energy of the hate, the fear, the anger, the remorse, the regret? Absolutely not. You don't, because you will stay stuck. All right? So anyway, I hope this helps some of you guys out there, and I hope it kind of gets you an understanding a little bit of how the unconscious behavior works, how it goes in, and it really is an undertow. It's an undertow that can take you way out, right? People that have gone out and just shot people, in the middle of the street, or have just lost it. It's that undertow. It's those emotions that are just negative and building and building and building. The little boy or little girl that's told how useless she is, how horrible he is, how he's going to grow up to be nothing. He's nothing but a piece of crap, right? If you're told that enough, you will become that. And I want you guys who have kids really, really take that to heart and know that, you know what, you structure your children based on what you expect them to become, how you expect them to grow, to nurture them, to watch them evolve. And sometimes what happens is it has to be not just unconscious, but conscious. If you're having, if you're feeling that you have anger towards somebody and it feels like it's never gone away, maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's an adult, talk about it. Find a therapist. Talk about it. Express yourself. And I'm hoping that therapist has enough integrity to help you change those behaviors, to help you think differently. Because look, yesterday wasn't today. Yesterday's not today. Yesterday is not tomorrow, right? You can't. One thing I can tell you is that you can't change time. You cannot go backwards and change your life based on your past. But what you can do is change your future to change to achieve what you want. But to do that, you got to release these negative emotions, these negative thoughts. Stop thinking in negative patterns, all right? I mean, look, the pandemic's causing a lot of that shit. A lot of people are in this negative place right now. It's going to get better. And I know that's a cliche, but it's going to get better. And I think that everything is like that. I mean, if you want it to get better, you can make it better, all right? I mean, I'm a hardcore therapist. I'm a person who goes after the emotions, and I change the way the physiological body responds to it. You create how you feel, right? I mean, you wake up in a shitty mood, if you hold on to that, that's going to be your day. If you wake up in a shitty mood and go in the shower and wash that crap off, you can come out feeling a different way. So anyway, you guys, if you are having those processes happening all the time in your head, you know what? You're not alone. And I want you to know that you're not alone. Don't feel alone. Look for somebody to talk to. Look for somebody who can help you. And I'll tell you one thing I learned a long, long time ago in my life is don't ask your family for help when you're starting a business or when you're having emotional issues, or find somebody who's qualified to handle those, because what happens is they care for you too much, right? And a lot of times they don't understand. I mean, I've had clients that, their family doesn't understand what depression and anxiety is. And they start to build these negative emotions, anger, hate, fear, remorse, regret, and the thing is if you can't deal with it and release it and talk about it, and hopefully, like I said, have a therapist that's going to give you ways to change those ideas in your head and change the way that you believe about yourself, because each one of us are very, very capable. Every single one of you that's hearing my voice right now, you guys, we're all capable. We're capable of success. We're capable of achievement. We're capable of reaching higher levels of who we are. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, every day we change something. If you don't like something in your home, you get rid of it. You take it to Goodwill. You throw it in the dumpster. Same with your emotions. If there's something in there that you don't like, change it. Get rid of it. Revamp it. Restructure it. Think of it differently. Our neurosystem is completely controlled by how our physiological body responds, all right? If you're feeling really down and you're having a lot of anxiety, try to go to a movie and engulf yourself in a really funny movie. After laughing, trust me, you're going to feel better. In other countries, they do laughing yoga, and it's really crazy because I have a good friend of mine who is a leader in our community of hypnotism. And she does this laugh process where you just sit there, you just start laughing, and it's interesting because it feels really weird at the beginning. It feels odd. It doesn't feel right. But as it goes on, you start feeling the endorphins change. Your chemical balances of your brain starts to change. Your body starts to change. Your structure starts to change. You feel yourself going to this whole rehabilitation. And you're releasing and letting go. And those emotions that you're carrying start to release. There's so many techniques you guys can do. I have somebody coming in next week. I hope you guys can join me and share this if you like this. Share with your friends. Bring them on. We need to build this community. I made a commitment to be here at 5:30 every day, every Thursday. I'm going to be here at 5:30 in the evening Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to go till 6. I'm going to make it sweet, short, sweet, and to the point. All right, because I think it's so important right now that we have people that are giving us the truth and people that are telling us what's really happening in our neurology, because there's a lot going on and we are textbook people. I mean, neuroscience and psychology can tell you exactly what's happening with our communities right now, what's happening with our society, what's happening with the world right now, because it is a textbook situation. None of this is new. I'm just here to help you change it, to help you find a way to go internal and exchange those negative emotions for positive emotions. And one of the easiest ways you can do that, you guys, change your physical structure, catch those words that you're saying to yourself, and restructure it. When you start feeling something like, an emotion that you say you lost something, you tried really hard to accomplish something and you failed at it, you know what? Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and let that shit go. And look back and say, what I learned from that. What can I do different next time? Will I do that again next time? Hey, if it all went to crap and it was the worst thing you ever experienced, don't do it again. Shut it down. Say, I won't do that again. I mean, I've even had to have clients move out of the state of California when it comes to alcohol and drug addiction, because they've surrounded themselves by that, because their unconscious mind believes that undertow again is pulling them back, that they're not good enough, or that they're, these are the only people they have and they don't have anybody else. There's so many reasons in our head that we fail ourselves. We cause ourselves to fail. All right. So anyway, that's what I got to say, and I hope you guys enjoy this, watching the replay. Those of you guys on YouTube, I can never tell who's over there and who's not. Sometimes I get tons of people on YouTube, and then sometimes I don't. But I want you guys to take this opportunity to, tell somebody you love them. And, if somebody looks sad, ask them why. Say, how can I be of service to you? How can I help you? What can I do different for you? Sometimes it's just going and buying somebody a single flower and just say, you're important to me. You mean a lot to me. I hope you're okay. We're in really tough times right now. I mean, emotionally, there's people everywhere. And anyway, I'm here for you guys, and if I can be of service to you. I did post in the link, we're doing a vision board, a visionary journey board. I do them I've done them for like 25 years. But what you do is we'll create a board, virtual board now using Canva, and we're going to create a board, and I'm going to hypnotize you into that board so you see your successes, you see it changing, and you see yourself evolving into what you're going to accomplish for the year. I like to take 3 things and kind of neutralize them out. And if you are having any of these emotional triggers that you need to get rid of, I mean, go into hypnosis. And it doesn't have to be me, you guys. Go online and get yourself a stress reduction hypnosis MP3, or go to YouTube and get yourself a MP3 that'll help you release, negative thoughts, negative energy. But ideally, the way to handle stuff like that is really to get a qualified therapist that can work with you and can help you go through those emotions, because I know that some people like to say we're snowflakes, but I'm going to tell you that none of you guys are cut out equally. I've done this for 25 years, and I'll tell you, nobody has been exactly the same ever, 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 ever. In the airline industry, we used to say, when you think you've known it all and seen it all, something new happens. I have that like every week in this practice. I think that I know something, and a client will come back and have something total different, just like the client I talked about earlier. For her, watching her father shoot her mother in the leg was normal. It was everyday life experience, So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope that I appreciate you guys letting me into your home and into your life. I know we all have very, very busy schedules, and we're all trying to get forward and move forward, right? So for next week, I'll be here next Thursday at 5:30 in the afternoon Pacific Standard Time. Share this, bring your friends, join me. and I'll think about the topic. I'll have a topic by tomorrow, I promise. And I'm going to try to see if I can put these topics out so I'm ahead of the game. Next week, I actually do have a topic. So my friend is going to come in and she's going to teach you how to kind of cut off anxiety, how to stop anxiety before it turns into a panic attack. So look forward to teaching you guys that, letting you guys see that, experience that, and have a good time with that. So, all right. I appreciate everybody. And again, like I said, if I'm going to leave the link in the comments for you guys to join the vision board. Come be with us. It's a 2-day workshop, small minimum entry for you. It's not expensive. I try to keep all of my stuff like that. And take care. Have a great weekend. Be good. Be safe. Love each other. And do something for somebody else today and this weekend. All right. Bye, guys.
I think these videos are brilliant, and I'm sure you will like them too. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell.